A hushed atmosphere enveloped the college lecture hall, the professor's droning voice merely background noise to Alex Miller as he scrolled through the campus anonymous forum. His gaze landed on a trending thread. "My roommate's flirting. Help! He's gay, I'm straight, and he's ridiculously adorable." The title itself made Alex pause. The comments underneath were exactly what one would expect from a university message board. A mix of humor and questionable advice. Someone quipped about having already decided between roommate or spouse one. Another poster doubted the original poster's self-proclaimed straightness, asserting that a truly straight man wouldn't describe a male roommate as incredibly adorable one. Alex, finding himself drawn into the absurdity, typed a quick reply, asking the poster how they were so certain about the flirting. The dismissal bell pierced the quiet, signaling the end of his elective. On his way back to their dorm suite, Alex swung by the Daily Grind, a popular campus eatery, to grab some honey mustard chicken and a side of fries for his roommates and himself, a frequent indulgence. As he distributed the containers, his phone buzzed. It was a reply from the forum post. "He just brought me dinner after class. How is that not flirting?" Alex opened the attached image, and his stomach dropped. It was a picture of the honey mustard chicken from the Daily Grind, identical to the meals currently being devoured by his roommates. A sudden chill snaked down his spine. He subtly scanned their faces. Ethan Vance, Noah Reed, and Caleb Jones were all engrossed in their phones, blissfully unaware, each with a takeout box in hand. He reminded himself that bringing food back was routine, and the Daily Grind's honey mustard chicken was a campus legend, always selling out. It was most likely just a coincidence. Alex decided to push for more details. "That still doesn't prove anything," he typed back, suggesting the roommate might simply be a kind person. "Any other examples of this flirting behavior?" The poster responded with a shy face emoji. He explained that he felt embarrassed to mention the other instances. He shared that they used the same body wash and shampoo, and that his roommate had even given him a handmade scarf and slippers. The forum exploded with theories. Users speculated that sharing personal hygiene products meant they must smell the same, creating an intimate ambience. Many asserted that the roommate clearly had feelings for the poster 3. Alex's blood ran cold. He zoomed in on the attached photos of the scarf and slippers. He recognized the intricate knotwork patterns and distinct colors instantly. Just a few weeks prior, he had immersed himself in learning advanced knot tying and had gifted each of his 3 roommates a unique, hand-knotted scarf and a pair of matching slippers as a little housewarming gesture. The thought hammered in his chest. Which of his roommates was secretly posting about him, claiming he was flirting, while outwardly accepting his gifts with a casual thanks? Man? The shared body wash argument was equally maddening. Their compact dorm bathroom barely offered any storage space. The 4 of them had agreed to split the cost of communal toiletries, a simple solution to avoid clutter, a suggestion Alex himself had made. How had that become evidence of him flirting? He furtively observed his roommates, trying to identify the delusional forum poster. Ethan Vance, whose bunk was adjacent to Alex's, was notoriously aloof and sharp-tongued across campus. Anyone who had ever tried to confess feelings to him, male or female, had been met with a stinging rejection. Despite his striking good looks, the law school had voted him least eligible bachelor for 2 years running. He had even sent a cease and desist letter to the students who organized the online Poll 45. Alex mentally crossed Ethan off his list. No way. Ethan was entirely too composed for such online dramatics. His gaze drifted to Noah Reed, whose bed was directly opposite. Noah, with his silver-rimmed glasses, exuded a refined and scholarly demeanor. However, those who knew him well understood he possessed a sly, mischievous streak and never forgot a slight. He once replaced Caleb Jones's prescription glasses with a non-corrective pair on April Fool's Day. Later, during a joint presentation, Noah had subtly inserted several embarrassing photos of Caleb into the slideshow, including one of Caleb flexing in bright pink novelty shorts and another comically attempting to swallow his fist 67. Caleb's mortified expressions from that day still circulated as popular memes on various campus forums. Alex had no concrete evidence to confirm Noah was the poster, nor to definitively clear him. Noah remained a pending suspect. That left Caleb Jones. Caleb topped Alex's suspicion list. Despite consistently claiming to be straight, Caleb was an avid consumer of online boy love comics and dramas, engrossed to an alarming degree. Alex seriously worried the content had affected his sense of reality. His eyes shifted between Caleb and Noah, utterly unable to pinpoint the culprit. Suddenly, a well-manicured hand appeared, placing a small, elegant box of chocolates on Alex's desk. Ethan Vance stated casually that the chocolates were for Alex. Alex glanced at the brand. Comparts. 891011, he gasped internally, knowing a box like that cost a small fortune. He told Ethan that he couldn't possibly accept something so extravagant, despite his profound love for fine chocolate. Ethan, with a dismissive shrug, explained they were a wedding favor from his cousin's ceremony last weekend, and he personally didn't care for chocolate. He then added that if Alex didn't take them, he would simply feed them to the stray cats on campus, framing it as a lighthearted threat. Caleb and Noah, amused, quickly chimed in with their playful support. They told Alex that refusing the gift would make him an accessory to animal poisoning. A warmth spread through Alex's chest. He understood they were trying to make him comfortable accepting the generous present. He decided not to dwell on the forum post. His own sexual orientation had been publicly outed on a campus forum by his hateful ex-boyfriend years ago, leading to multiple dorm changes due to ostracization and harassment. This current group of roommates had been nothing short of exceptional, never uttering a derogatory word and even defending him against others' cruelty. He wouldn't let a trivial internet post disrupt the rare harmony they shared. However, the forum poster's increasingly disturbing narrative soon changed Alex's mind. During their required gym class, Alex had shared his bottled water with Caleb, both of them taking sips without direct lip contact. Later, while checking the forum during a break, Alex discovered a new post from the anonymous user. It read, "My roommate offered me water he'd already drunk. Doesn't that count as an indirect kiss?" Alex nearly choked on his next sip. The description was deliberately misleading, stripping away context to create a false impression. He knew this twisted portrayal would inevitably stir up misinterpretations among the online community. As expected, comments quickly flooded in. One user proclaimed that the roommate's actions were unequivocally grooming, initially dismissing the poster as narcissistic, but now convinced of the malicious intent. Another commenter warned the poster was being slowly cooked like a frog in warm water, suggesting the roommate was trying to turn him. A third commenter expressed disgust, recommending the poster distance himself immediately from such a creepy individual who lacked boundaries and could escalate to deviant acts. 3412, the original poster, then replied to the comment about being turned. He asked if that meant his roommate desired a romantic relationship and admitted he was unfamiliar with such dynamics, reiterating his straight identity. He then surprisingly asked if, should they start dating, they would need to move out, requesting recommendations for off-campus apartments near the university. The sentiment on the forum shifted dramatically. Users now accused the poster of being the one who was eager for a relationship. One user directly questioned the poster's motives, asking why he was already looking for apartments when his roommate hadn't even confessed feelings. Another commenter, frustrated, revealed he had been blocked by the poster for suggesting he avoid the roommate, declaring the original poster was absolutely gay and possibly a delusional pervert. Alex instinctively liked that last comment, a shiver running through him. The thought that such a disturbed individual was living alongside him, just a few feet away, was genuinely unsettling. He felt a desperate internal scream echo in his mind, questioning who among them could possibly be this person. After gym class, it was Alex and Caleb's turn to return the basketball equipment to the storage room. As fate would have it, they encountered Derek Stone, a former acquaintance who had bullied Alex in a previous dorm. Derek's eyes, filled with malicious intent, scrutinized Alex and Caleb. He openly questioned if their current roommates knew Alex was gay, wondering how they could tolerate living with him without feeling disgusted, or if they secretly harbored similar intentions, keeping Alex around as a plaything. Alex had grown accustomed to such vile remarks. He had tried to fight back, to report the harassment, but the outcomes were always inconsequential, often resulting in others advising him to keep his perverted affairs under wraps to avoid further shame. He forced himself to appear unfazed, letting Derek's words wash over him. However, Caleb didn't share Alex's practiced indifference. His brow furrowed, and he lashed out with a sharp retort, telling Derek that while most people used their mouths to eat, Derek seemed to use his for excreting nonsense. Caleb dismissively added that Derek was clearly deluding himself if he thought any gay person would be interested in him. Derek, his face already bruised from Caleb's punch, roared in fury, threatening to make Caleb regret his words. Caleb merely scoffed, declaring his own appeal was self-evident and he didn't need Derek's validation. Alex, struggling to suppress a laugh, tugged Caleb away, knowing another word from Caleb would push Derek over the edge. Derek, feeling publicly humiliated, blocked their path, refusing to let them leave. His imposing stature and muscular build made it clear that both Alex and Caleb combined would be no match for him in a real fight. Just as Derek was about to throw a punch, Ethan Vance unexpectedly arrived. He swiftly executed a grappling maneuver, seizing Derek and pinning his arm. Ethan then landed a series of brutal punches, aiming directly for Derek's face, his voice chillingly fierce. He declared that his roommate was not to be trifled with. If Alex and Caleb hadn't intervened, Ethan might have hospitalized Derek. Alex felt a surge of gratitude for his roommate's fierce loyalty. He insisted on treating them to dinner, opting for a casual burger joint, and offered a toast with their sodas. Alex explained that his sexual orientation had led to a lot of discrimination and bullying in the past. He thanked them for defending him today and for never judging him. He expressed his hope that the four of them would remain close friends forever. They clinked their glasses together in a symbolic gesture of camaraderie. Noah, feigning disappointment, lamented not being present for the action, feeling as if he'd missed out on the shared moment of triumph. Caleb, still seething, bit out that Noah was always pointlessly snapping pictures instead of being there for his highlight reel, boasting about how impressive his punch had been. Ethan, with a dismissive smirk, retorted that if he hadn't intervened, Caleb's scrawny arms and legs wouldn't have withstood a single hit. He added that Caleb's recklessness had nearly endangered Alex too. Caleb, intent on proving his martial prowess, continued to perform various self-defense moves all the way back to the dorm. Later that night, after his shower, Alex lay in bed, scrolling through his phone. He stumbled upon a new post from the anonymous user. The headline was a string of frantic exclamation marks, followed by pages of meaningless AHs. 2 pages down, the poster finally started making sense. Emergency! My roommate's blanket got wet from the rain, and he asked to sleep in my bed. What does this mean? Is he suggesting something intimate? In the dorm? Too much? Should I ask him to get a hotel room instead? No, wait, the dorm is fine. Is it too late to buy protection? He's asleep, but he keeps snuggling closer to me. He loves me so much. He's made his feelings so obvious. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna tell him I want to be together. The comments below were a barrage of explicit jokes. Alex felt as if he had been struck by lightning. The words were familiar, yet his mind struggled to process their meaning. He had slept with Ethan last night. Could Ethan be the delusional poster? The realization hit him with a sickening force. Before Alex could fully comprehend the devastating truth, a warm body pressed against him from behind. Ethan's breath ghosted over Alex's ear, his lips barely brushing the lobe. His voice, thick with sleep, murmured, "Morning, Alex. You're looking especially good this morning." Alex's entire body stiffened, fear paralyzing him. He could distinctly feel Ethan's erection pressing against his leg. Blushing furiously, he quickly rolled over, pressing himself against the cool wall, desperate to avoid eye contact should Ethan awaken and realize his intimate position. He instinctively grabbed his phone, scrolling through the familiar forum. Another new post from the anonymous user, this time with a title comprising endless exclamation points, followed by pages of nonsensical AHs. He scrolled 2 pages down before the post finally became coherent. Urgent. My roommate's blanket got soaked, and he asked to sleep in my bed. What could this mean? Does he want to? In the dorm? Is that too much? Should I suggest a hotel? No, on second thought, the dorm is perfectly fine. Is it too late to buy condoms? My roommate is sleeping, but he keeps snuggling closer to me. He truly loves me. His affection is so clear now. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to tell him I'm ready to be with him. The comments were filled with celebratory emojis and suggestive remarks. Alex felt a profound shock. He had definitely slept in Ethan's bed last night. The horrifying truth clicked into place. The deranged poster was Ethan Vance. Alex was still reeling from the discovery when a warm body pressed against him from behind. Ethan's breath tickled his ear, his lips brushing the lobe as he murmured, "Morning, Alex." Alex's whole body stiffened, his gaze fixed on the wall. He felt Ethan's physical response against his thigh, leaving him frozen with embarrassment. Ethan gently nudged Alex's chin, turning his face to meet his gaze. Ethan's eyes burned with an intense, unyielding heat, focusing on Alex's lips. He leaned in slowly. Alex's mind raced, contemplating whether a well-aimed kick would send Ethan tumbling off the narrow bunk. But before he could act, Ethan paused, then instead placed a soft kiss on Alex's forehead. A shy smile touched Ethan's lips as he apologized, explaining he understood Alex preferred more passionate displays of affection, but he genuinely wanted to take things at a steady, respectful pace. Alex stared blankly, his mind too overwhelmed to react. Ethan rose, moved to the bathroom to brush his teeth, even squeezing toothpaste onto Alex's brush for him. When he returned, he simply watched Alex, a faint blush staining his ears. Alex tried multiple times to initiate a serious conversation, but the right opening never materialized. Ethan was then called out by a friend, his intense gaze finally departing, leaving Alex in a state of agitated relief. Before leaving, Ethan leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to Alex's nose, his voice a low rumble. He asked what Alex would like for dinner, promising to bring it back. Alex, his throat tight, managed to hoarse anything. "Whatever you want." The moment Ethan's footsteps faded, Alex buried his face in his pillow, letting out a stifled, strangled cry. He felt completely adrift, utterly unsure how to navigate this bizarre situation. In a moment of desperation, he posted his own anonymous query on the campus forum. "My roommate is convinced I'm flirting with him. I'm gay, Schrodinger's straight. He's totally deluded himself, believing everything I do is a sign of affection. Now he thinks we're officially a couple. How do I salvage this friendship?" Replies quickly poured in, many recognizing the inverse of the other popular thread. Several users humorously suggested that Alex should simply embrace the situation, advising him to do it if he felt any inclination. Most of the serious advice converged on a single point. Alex needed to decide his true feelings. If he liked Ethan, he should reciprocate. If not, he should end it decisively. "Do you like him?" The question echoed in Alex's mind. He felt genuinely confused. He cherished their rare and accepting friendship deeply, always maintaining a careful distance to avoid causing any discomfort or offense to his amazing roommates. He had always believed he was successful in that endeavor. Yet, ever since he learned of Ethan's feelings, his heart had been doing somersaults. Why? Seeing his post quickly gaining traction, Alex hastily deleted it. That evening, Caleb and Noah sent messages to the group chat. They were heading to a concert in a neighboring city and wouldn't be back until morning. This meant Alex and Ethan would be alone in the dorm. Alex's palms grew damp with anxiety. Just then, Ethan pushed open the door, holding a bag of Alex's favorite beef stir-fry. Alex decided to postpone any difficult conversations. They ate dinner, making awkward small talk until it was time for bed. After his shower, Alex emerged to find Ethan staring at him with a quizzical expression. Ethan commented that Alex usually only wore a towel after showering, expressing confusion as to why he was in full pajamas tonight. Alex, exasperated, muttered a vague excuse about the sudden drop in temperature and the fear of catching a cold. He then quickly added that Caleb wouldn't be returning tonight, so he could use Caleb's bunk, relieving Ethan of the burden of sharing his narrow bed. Ethan's lips curved downward slightly. Alex pretended not to notice. As he reached for the ladder to Caleb's upper bunk, Ethan's arms wrapped around him from behind, pulling him close. Ethan's voice, a low rumble, declared that he didn't mind close quarters. He then firmly stated that since Alex was his boyfriend, he couldn't possibly sleep in another man's bed. Alex's heart hammered against his ribs. His mind raced, frantically searching for words, but his throat felt constricted, unable to utter a sound. He remained rigid in Ethan's embrace as Ethan's kisses began to trail down his neck. The intimacy was overwhelming. Alex, desperate, feigned extreme fatigue. He scrambled up to Caleb's bunk, pulled the blanket over his head, and forced out a strained goodnight. To make his act believable, he even started softly snoring about 10 minutes later. Ethan turned off the light and climbed into his own bed, plunging the room into darkness. Alex yearned for sleep, but his nerves hummed like a live wire, making him feel as though he was running a marathon. After an indeterminate amount of time, Ethan's soft whisper broke the silence. He asked if Alex knew that the class president and the student body vice president were dating. Alex's eyes shot open involuntarily, asking, "What?" Ethan chuckled softly. He said he knew Alex hadn't been asleep. Alex cursed inwardly. Ethan was cheating, using campus gossip to trick him. Ethan's next question, delivered tentatively, was whether Alex was upset by his slow progress. Alex, a desperate plea escaping him, quietly begged him to go even slower. Ethan sighed, a hint of resignation in his voice. He understood Alex was so frustrated he was being sarcastic. Ethan then conceded that their dorm room wasn't the ideal place for their first time, insisting it should happen somewhere perfectly prepared. However, he offered to help Alex out a bit first, given Alex's apparent eagerness. Alex's jaw dropped. "Me? Eager?" Ethan suddenly buried his head beneath the covers. Alex felt his movements beneath the fabric, biting his lip fiercely to stifle any sound. His hands clenched the blanket, his face flushed with heat. Following that intimate exchange, Alex tacitly accepted his relationship with Ethan. Ethan became incredibly possessive, a large, affectionate presence constantly seeking closeness. Even after Alex's blanket had dried, Ethan insisted on sharing a bed. Alex, worried Caleb and Noah might notice something amiss, would coolly reject him. But Ethan, undeterred, would quietly slip into Alex's bed in the dead of night, only to sneak back to his own before dawn. Alex found himself swept up in the intoxicating rush of new love, almost losing himself in its sweetness. His blissful haze was shattered when his ex-boyfriend, Blake Foster, appeared on campus. Alex had just finished texting Ethan about their dinner plans for the evening, a faint smile still on his lips, when he saw Blake blocking his path. Alex's expression instantly hardened. He tried to walk past, but Blake reached out, stopping him. Blake remarked that they had been together for a while, suggesting Alex was being unduly cold. He then proposed they find a quiet spot to talk. Alex coolly stated there was nothing left to discuss with him. Blake pulled out his phone, displaying several photos of Alex and Ethan kissing. Though only Ethan's back and profile were visible, anyone familiar with him would immediately recognize him. Alex felt a chilling dread. Blake's smile was sickeningly smug. He asked if Alex was now willing to talk. They found a secluded coffee shop, settling into a quiet corner. Alex kept his voice low, his irritation barely contained. He asked what Blake hoped to achieve with the photos, reminding him that blackmail was illegal. Blake spread his hands, denying it was blackmail since he wasn't demanding money. He claimed Alex had blocked all his contact, leaving him no other recourse to get Alex to sit down and talk. Blake then offered a hollow apology for outing Alex in high school, asserting he hadn't meant to cause Alex pain but had simply wanted to prevent their breakup, admitting he had chosen the wrong approach. Alex felt a wave of nausea. Blake, an art history major, had always been part of a more open-minded crowd, where sexuality was less of a secret. But for Alex, being outed in high school had led to relentless bullying, making him fiercely private. When he discovered Blake's infidelity, he'd immediately ended the relationship. Blake, however, had threatened to expose Alex's sexuality if he didn't stay, knowing full well it was Alex's most painful vulnerability. Now, Alex had finally come to terms with his identity, but he couldn't bear the thought of Ethan enduring similar prejudice. Blake, sensing Alex's apprehension, honed in on his greatest fear. He admitted that while Alex might no longer be afraid, he wondered if his new boyfriend shared that resilience. Blake then produced printouts of Ethan's forum posts, along with screenshots of Alex's own anonymous query. He revealed he knew Alex's forum handle and concluded that Alex's new boyfriend was his roommate, Ethan. He then cynically questioned if Ethan, who initially identified as straight despite now being with Alex, would still be interested once the novelty wore off. Blake declared that people like them gay people were only suited for relationships with their own kind, claiming he was only trying to protect Alex from future heartache. He gave Alex 3 days to reconsider, break up with Ethan and get back together with him, or he would publish their relationship details on the campus forum. Alex's mind churned, so preoccupied that he forgot his dinner plans with Ethan. He returned to the dorm in a state of profound distress. That night, when Ethan tried to join him in bed, Alex gently sent him back to his own bunk, explaining he needed to sleep alone. Ethan's eyes registered hurt, but he quietly complied. Later, Alex, scrolling on his phone under the covers, saw Ethan's latest post. "My boyfriend is already tired of me after only 7 days, 8 hours and 35 minutes. What should I do? He's always been so gentle, never harsh, but today he's been distant and cold. My heart is shattered." The comments, predictably, were a mix of morbid curiosity and unhelpful speculation. Some suggested he might have found someone else. Others claimed the initial passion always fades, merely shifting to a new person. A few commenters tried to be kind, but ultimately concluded Alex might simply not be interested anymore. Ethan, seeing the comments, began deleting them in a frantic attempt to control the narrative. Alex watched the hot takes vanish one by one, a wave of relief washing over him. He immediately texted his broken puppy. "Come over," he typed. Almost instantly, Ethan's forum thread updated. "Boyfriend wants me to sleep in his bed. Love, Blake." Still monitoring the forum, knew Alex and Ethan were as affectionate as ever. He confronted Alex again, his face a thundercloud. He accused Alex of being reckless, giving him one last chance to comply with his demands. Otherwise, his threat died in his throat. Alex calmly held up a photograph, a compromising image of Blake and one of the art history professors. Alex explained that he had kept that photo since their breakup, disdaining to use such underhanded tactics. However, he warned Blake that if he was pushed to the brink, he wouldn't hesitate to fight dirty, assuring him that Alex wouldn't be the one facing expulsion. Blake's defiant expression crumbled into fear. He dropped to his knees, pleading with Alex to delete the photo, explaining it would destroy his academic career. Alex scoffed, asking if Blake truly thought he was so foolish as to delete his only leverage. He promised that if Blake stayed out of his life, never approaching him again, he would delete the photo after graduation. Alex meant every word, but Blake, a small-minded man, assumed everyone else was equally deceitful. Instead of backing off, Blake began a grand, public pursuit of Alex. He arranged rose petals and heart shapes on the quad, serenaded Alex with acoustic guitar love songs beneath the dorm windows. He hoped to either soften Alex's resolve or exasperate him enough to concede and delete the photos. Blake's antics became campus-wide gossip, eventually reaching Ethan. Alex was in an elective class when a female classmate, whispering conspiratorially, asked if he and Ethan were together. Alex, startled, tried to feign nonchalance, asking who had spread such rumors. The classmate then showed him a video on her phone. Ethan himself, boldly declaring he had confronted Blake in the art history building and beaten him to a pulp, him to stay away from Alex. She added that Blake was now in the hospital, and Ethan was likely facing disciplinary action. Alex immediately ditched class and raced to the hospital. In the hospital corridor, Caleb and Noah stood beside Ethan. Ethan's hand was bandaged. Alex rushed to him, cradling his injured hand. He asked if it was broken. Ethan, looking sheepish, admitted he'd put too much force into a punch, hitting the wall instead of Blake, only scraping his knuckles. Alex gently ruffled Ethan's hair, asking him to wait there while he spoke with Blake. Ethan clutched Alex's hand, his eyes filled with a vulnerable plea, but Alex firmly disengaged. He walked to Blake's hospital room. Blake's face was a canvas of purple and blue, a front tooth missing. The moment he saw Alex, his eyes welled up. He tearfully recounted how Ethan had assaulted him, vowing to press charges and ensure Ethan was expelled. Alex listened quietly until Blake's tirade subsided. Then Alex proposed a deal. If Blake dropped the charges against Ethan, Alex would delete the incriminating photo. Blake paused, stunned. His voice choked as he expressed disbelief, asking why Alex wasn't concerned about his injuries, instead prioritizing Ethan and his attacker. He confessed he truly still loved Alex and wanted him back. Alex's brow furrowed in distaste. Hearing Blake talk about love made him feel sick. He then calmly stated that if Blake insisted on pressing charges, whatever disciplinary action Ethan faced, Blake's would be far more severe. Alex turned and left the room. Blake called out, his voice laced with resentment. He agreed, demanding Alex delete the photo in front of him. Alex waved a dismissive hand, promising to do so only after all of Blake's injuries had fully healed. As Alex stepped out of the hospital room, he saw Ethan, who had been crouched outside, obviously eavesdropping. Ethan flashed a wide, toothy grin. If he had a tail, it would be wagging like a propeller. Alex playfully tapped his head, a fond exasperation in his tone, his eyes crinkling with amusement. He told Ethan it was time to leave. Back in their dorm, Alex immediately logged onto the campus forum. The top trending post was, predictably, the gossip about him and Ethan. As a first-hand participant, Alex had no desire to relive the drama. He clicked on his followed users list. Sure enough, Ethan had posted again. "My boyfriend loves me so much. What should I do?" His trash ex was constantly pestering him, so I had to beat him up, leaving him a mess. My boyfriend rushed to the hospital, and the first thing he did was tell the ex to drop the charges against me, completely ignoring the ex's injuries. He only has eyes for me. Ethan, the absolute goofball. His fight with Blake had been the talk of campus, and posting this now was essentially a public confession. The comments section quickly transformed into a coded exchange. Users wondered if the poster was the infamous sarcastic law student. Many commenters, having followed the entire saga, declared their unwavering support for the couple. They questioned who had dared to label the sarcastic guy as the least suitable for dating in law school, asserting that a simp like him deserved love. Ethan, still attempting a facade of anonymity, typed replies denying he was Ethan Vance and asking how to cheer up a grumpy boyfriend. The comments devolved into explicit suggestions, causing the thread to be taken down again. Seeing Ethan still engrossed in his phone, Alex worried he might post something else equally revealing. Alex walked over and gently took the phone from his injured hand. Ethan immediately wrapped his arms around Alex's waist. Alex, still nursing a slight annoyance, headed to the bathroom to shower. In the short time he was gone, Ethan had apparently found another device, posting again, Urgent. Seriously. Need tips on how to cheer up my boyfriend? DM me. Alex couldn't help but laugh. He found several suggestive images of dog training outfits online and privately messaged them to Ethan, playfully teasing him. Try something bold, he wrote, that'll fix anything. Alex let the matter drop. In a relationship, some things required a forgiving eye. Constantly nitpicking would only erode their bond. He mentally turned a new page, immersing himself fully in his relationship and their new life together. As it turned out, even though Alex never deleted Blake's photo, Blake's illicit affair with his professor was eventually exposed by the professor's enraged spouse. The professor was fired, and Blake was expelled from the art history program. Alex and Ethan's relationship, surprisingly, was met with acceptance, not judgment. Their roommates, understanding the need for privacy, even started going to the campus game room or library when they wanted to game. Alex, however, didn't want to disrupt their lives indefinitely. He and Ethan discussed getting their own place. Ethan, with a shy grin, produced a set of keys. He revealed he had rented an apartment for them on the very first day they officially started dating. That night, Alex and Ethan moved into their new apartment. While showering, Alex mentally braced himself. Now that they had their own space, a more adult dimension to their relationship felt inevitable and entirely natural. He splashed cold water on his flushed face, trying to compose himself. When he walked back into the bedroom, Ethan was kneeling on the bed. He was wearing the revealing outfit Alex had sent him, complete with fluffy dog ears clipped to his hair and a collar with a leash around his neck. His face flushed a deep crimson as he extended the leash to Alex, his voice trembling slightly. "Master." Alex felt a surge of desire he couldn't resist. They spent the rest of the night entangled, only resting as dawn approached. Just before he drifted off, Alex checked his phone. Another new post from Ethan. "I love my boyfriend so much." Alex smiled, pulling Ethan closer. He whispered, "I love you too." Ethan kissed him deeply, a long, lingering embrace, then pulled back, a curious frown on his face. "Why two?" Alex didn't answer. He simply pretended to fall asleep, content to let Ethan keep posting, knowing it meant Ethan would always be expressing his love.